Here we go. I'm going to break down SLV. I made a couple of really good calls in my Discord about where to buy and sell this thing. Of course, I don't tell you or make any financial advice. I just say, hey, this looks like a place where I'd take profits, and sometimes I am trading the symbols, and I say I just took profits. So if you like this analysis, hit join below. You get access to a private channel in my Discord server where all my charts go and my trade alerts, and that's really where I hang out. You can ask me stuff, and I respond. So here we go. Why SLV? Because I've actually been a long-term silver hodler since 2008. Yes, when I was 18, I observed the financial crisis with a lot of awareness for someone that age because, you know, family members were all stressed out about it. And so I was exposed to it and I picked it up. And so my videos about the stock market and equities, that is not where my trading life began. It's not. So I kind of want to go back to where I started in silver, and SLV is not silver. This is, of course, a derivative product, and I don't like it. The so-called stock market is more derivatives and futures than actually shares of stock. Everyone knows that, I think. I don't know, but that's why I like the precious metals. You can hold it. It's right here. You know, it's not, where's my share of AMC? No. You got your coin in your hand. If you like coins. I don't like rounds personally. I like coins, just Eagles, because if I buy anything else, I don't want to sell it. You know, there's no point in hoarding it. But that's fun too. I respect that. It's so cool when you see just a massive amount of coins together. Okay, so let's get going in this Elliott waveform analysis. Elliott waveform analysis essentially describes how the price moves through time in order to make progress and breaks down waveforms into either a motive or corrective mode, in which price is either making progress through a trend or it's retracing progress through a trend, and that's essentially it. That's basically it. And the motive waves, they have a 5 waveform, and corrective waves have a 3 waveform. So that's just the basic, that's the basic rundown. That's Elliott waveform analysis 101. Moving on from there, there are some rules about how we form those waves. How we form the 5 waves of a motive wave, or how we form the corrective waves in a corrective mode. So that's kind of like step 2, is following those rules. And then step 3 is understanding how it all connects and the multiple appropriate analysis. I've already broken down this bottom in a couple of different ways. And the more I look at it, the more I find, like, you know, I had this uptrend here, and, well, okay, why don't I just put that up here and we can be like, hey, look, it's a triangle. Right? Well, A, B, C, D. E would have been up here when you broke out. It's not a very good triangle, though. That's actually not the best analysis. It's not the best analysis. It's tempting, though. But no, it's not the best analysis. So I'm going to show you what I think the best analysis is of this bottom, which I called an opportunity to enter position, which, of course, was a fantastic idea. And we'll just break this down and start going through here. You know, I typically save this for my CapVision subscribers, but why not for everyone? Hit join below. Okay, so here's the bottom, and the first thing I like to do is draw a trend line. And that's because the Elliott waveform analysis, it fractals. There's like 9 degrees or more, as many as you want, really. In fact, it's just fair to say that there are degrees of amplitude in Elliott wave theory, and you're going to break those down. So if you have a 5 waveform going higher, the top of that 5 waveform can be 1, and there's going to be 5 waves inside of that 1, and then 1, 3, and 5 inside of there are also going to have their own little 5 waves. So you can start compounding and stacking up and really breaking down every little wave. And my experience has been is you can do it from intra-minute time frames all the way to yearly time frames, and it's an accurate way to analyze the price, which blows my mind. And even this after hours and pre-market action follows this still, which is so insane to me. I don't try to justify it. I just make the observation and respect it. You cannot argue with the results. So here we go. Stop blabbering, Cap. So I start with an uptrend, and I'm going to actually go over uptrends too, because I see a lot of trend lines on Reddit, on YouTube, but they're just bad trend lines. Okay, they aren't bad, quote, trend lines, but they're trend lines drawn without form. They're just I liked these peaks, and so I connected them, or I liked these valleys, or I liked how if I bisected this run, how it caught the valleys and peaks before and after. That's not science. I don't know what that is. So let's go ahead and apply a method. Bulkowski describes how to draw a trend line in his book, Chart Patterns, Getting Started in Chart Patterns. Okay, and that's how I determine where my trends are and where they've broken and where a new trend begins. Very important process. So I'm going to start at this low, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be going to the next high, and you can see how the price cuts through here, and this would be an internal trend line. Internal, because it's running internally to the price, but the true trend line is external, and so it doesn't cut through the price at all. You're going to notice actually that just the second little valley here defines that whole trend line. Incredible, right? That first dip caught those two, or this bounce, and where we got that trend reversal, that 3-step trend reversal. This is perfect. When you have a trend reversal, the first thing the price is going to do is cross through the trend. Then it's going to come up and it's going to test either that point of breakout or the trend itself. And when it then sets a lower low than the bounce formed for the retest, at that point you have a new trend line. And we start the process again, but in reverse, going from the top and then to the bottom, which would be this first dip, and then when we get that new low, you can see that this becomes a minor high and we get the new downtrend. So that's step one, is identify your trends. And the first thing I see here is we obviously have a trend reversal, right? Where the price is coming in on the left side, heading down, and then it heads out and up on the right. So there's a trend reversal here. I'm going to go ahead and just take this first, what I perceive to be the first real high since that low, and draw my trend line. So you can see there's the ultimate low here and another dip here. And just as was the case back here where the first dip defined the whole trend, that's the case here too. Is we're going to take that first low, we're just going to extend that to the right. And look at that. The price interacts with this trend, and we'll talk about what's going on here in a few minutes. So we now have an uptrend through here. Let's break this down, because after we come up to this high, there is a short-term reversal where the price is heading down, right? It doesn't break through this longer trend line for a while, but there's a short-term downtrend. And so I'm just going to go ahead and draw this uptrend. You see what I'm doing there? Finding the highest high, and now I don't want to cut through the price at all between those 2 points, and that's what I get right there. I'm going to go ahead and place these trends down. Yup. And I did that one really quickly without walking through it, because it would take forever if I were to just describe all of this, and this one actually needs to be green. So let's go ahead and just color that guy. There you go. All right, so let's go through and we'll just add more trend lines. Let's just do all the trends, right? Why not just do all the trends really quickly? Because I want to show how you use trend line. Oh, wow. Look at that. I just copied and pasted and it had the same slope. Interesting, right? Interesting. And let's get this next downtrend going. And like, Cap, why are you doing this? Well, because you're going to start seeing something really cool. Okay? You're going to start to notice that I'm building a motive wave with my trend lines. Yeah, with my trend lines. So let's just keep going here. I'm going to duplicate this and pull it over. And this one's going to be a little harder, of course. But look at that slope, right? Similar slope. Now, where does this downtrend break? So I'm going to use this valley, the first valley. The first valley prior to trend break. And then I'm going to go way up here and find this highest high. But, oh, looks like I'm about to run to the price right there. So I already know I'm there. Okay, we'll get here. We'll get there. Let's start here. Okay, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at an uptrend, a downtrend, and another uptrend, right? 1, 2, 3. Nice. This is a trend reversal. 1, 2, and 3. That 3-wave motion. Let's find the incoming downtrend. Okay, so the longer trend is there, but I want to find the downtrend of a relatively similar degree. So this is a pretty short uptrend. We're probably breaking, yes, this downtrend set right here. 1, 2, and 3. I wonder if there's a better trend there to break. I think that's it. It's not super forgiving. It's kind of that bottom came in really quick, didn't it? In fact, you might even be tempted to say that there's like a triangle through here, right? 1, 2, 3, but we don't get 5 touch points crossing the pattern very well. So I actually would resist the urge to call that a triangle. And just start labeling motive waves and corrective waves. So let's get going here. Elliott waveform analysis. Push 1, retracement for 2 cannot wipe out the gains of 1, and it didn't. We got a bounce. Great. And that formed this longer uptrend. Wave 3 that comes next just can't be the shortest wave, right? And it's not. It's larger than 1, which is good. And then we get a retracement down for 4. And the thing about wave 4 is that it shouldn't overlap the peak of wave 1. And so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 came down and didn't pass here. And then wave 5 completes the motive waveform. And I think it's through here. 1, 2, you get 3 is way shorter than 1, right? 4 overlaps 1, 5. 5 just needs to be shorter than 3 to qualify. And wave 4 can overlap wave 1 in ending or leading diagonal triangles. So often what I see is I do see fifth waves coming into these narrowing patterns. And when that happens, you almost always get a reversal, right? Which here we did. And that makes sense because after a 5-wave motive wave, let me put a little diagram down. Your basic motive wave has 5 waves like this. And at the end, you get a 3-wave correction, okay? Typically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So when this 5th wave through here is in a narrowing price trend tilted upwards, this tells me that the impulse waves, the waves that are making progress, agreeing with the trend, are getting shorter. And so that means that the trend is losing steam. And then you get this ABC correction heading lower. All right? So again, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into this narrowing rising wedge, pennant, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. The 5th wave often shows signs of weakness in shortening impulse waves. Okay, so there's 5 waves through here, and so I'm saying this is the first complete sub-minuet wave. And now that I see that, it's like, you know, I should just make the sub-minuet waves reflect all of these waves, right? So this is going to be my smallest wave degree, sub-minuet 1. Let's duplicate this and pull it down here and say that that trend test was 2. And of course, at the time, we didn't have when this low came in, we didn't have this uptrend yet. We didn't have this uptrend until the price set a new high from wave 1. So just bear in mind, whenever you get a bounce like this after a 1, 2, 3 move, consider just drawing a trend line even before you get this new high above wave 1. Just consider it. Okay, moving on. I then saw we had wave 3, and wave 3 here looks like it's only got 3 waves, and that's fine. Impulse waves can be 3 waves, which is weird, right? But it can be the case, and it doesn't bother me. Just say, hey, 2, 3. And the reason why I'm okay with that, or I'm open-minded to that, is because we have such a perfect test of the peak of wave 1. That's a perfect test. Whenever I see a dip after a long rally, and that dip tests the peak of the wave the wave up that preceded the rally, then I say 1 and 4, and then I say, can this be 3? Yes. And can this be 5? Yes. So it's kind of like a jig. It's kind of like algebra. Is this true? Is this true? Can that be true? Can that be true? I want to just make a hypothesis that this is a motive wave, and if that is true, then this rule won't be broken. And then when it's not, I say great. So that's how I do that. And let's go ahead and just duplicate this 3 up here. We'll call this the peak of wave 5. Yeah. And I'm going to turn this into a candle chart really quick. And it's after hours, right? So, you know, you wouldn't get all of that off of this chart, obviously. It's like, what? It's just hard to read. It doesn't make much sense. So, going back to line. Whoa, makes sense. Okay, so that's our 5 waveform heading higher. And we have 1, 2, 3. We make those annotations in letters. So maybe this is A right here at that uptrend test. Then B comes up and tests the downtrend. C is actually a bottom. There's a bottom through here below this uptrend. And then we begin an explosive wave higher. And this is going to be fun to chart. I'm already looking forward to it. So what do I do now? I have a complete 5 waveform going from the low to the minor high, and then the retracement labeled as ABC. How do I keep going, right? Well, you just start over. You just start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all over again. Here, though, it's going to be a little more difficult. It's going to be a perfect example of an extension. So I'm excited to show how these waves fractal by extending. And first thing I got to do there is I got to establish that when you complete a 5 waveform in 1 degree, you're completing a motive wave of a higher degree. So some minuets are lowercase Roman numerals. I make them yellow. Minuet waves, they're going to have parentheses, and that shows that they are above the degree without them. Like the parentheses are like, it's like a badge or something. I am larger than you. And so let's see here, lowercase Roman numeral in parentheses 1, or our first set of 5 completed. Does that make sense? And then we have A, B, and C. And you know what this is? It's a retracement of that first wave. So ABC completes Minuet Wave 2. Isn't that great? Do you understand how that works? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5. And then 1, 2, 3. Second wave, retracing the first set of 5. Beautiful. Awesome. I love it. Okay, and there's even a little discussion to be had through this correction A, B, and C, because there are motive waves through A, B, and C as well. Because motive waves agree with the trend. And at that point in time, you can see we're in a downtrend, so motive waves go down. Motive waves go up in uptrends, and motive waves go down in downtrends. So there's a motive wave between point 5 and A, and between point C and B. And corrective is going to be a 3-wave move. You can see between A and B, there is a 3-wave move there. Now don't be confused, because impulse waves can also be 3 waves. So there's a little discussion there about what's an impulse wave and what's a reactionary wave. The terms impulse and motive are fairly synonymous, and corrective and reactionary are synonymous. Corrective waves always happen in 3s. You're not going to find like a 1, 2, 3 push down with a 5 waveform between A and B, and then, you know. So I don't need to go into that, I don't think. It just muddies the water. So we've completed waves 1 and waves 2. So what's next? Wave 3. Wave 3 is next. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this and put a 3 in here. This is what we're looking for now. And I'm just going to go, hey, let's just, you know, start a trend line. And I'm going to do that with the valley that precedes the trend, the downtrend breakout. So that's our downtrend that we're breaking. First valley is here. Boom, here we go. And I do that because bottoming patterns can commonly occur below trend lines. And so when you get something like this, this is a pretty clear, it might even be a complex inverted head and shoulder pattern with 2 heads. Double bottom, maybe, but I see shoulders through here in a neckline. So anyway, here we go. So let's start breaking down this massive rally, because this is obviously, see, I was already doing this, but I decided that I wanted to break this down one more. Because if I were to put sub-minuet wave 3 up here and not minuet wave 3, then what degree would I use to express the extension? And maybe that doesn't make sense yet, but it will. Okay, let's back out a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to clean up my chart just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and delete this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Okay. Let's start breaking this down, because obviously there's more than 5 waves heading higher through here. Obviously, way more than that. And the RSI is peaking 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6 different times, right? Nuts. So let's just go ahead and start this, and I'm just going to rely on the RSI here a little bit as I break this down. So the first instance of RSI breaking overbought is here. I'm just going to start labeling the tops of those RSI peaks as the tops of motive waves. Duplicate 2, and we're going to call that dip 2. 1, 2. You see how there's a 3 waveform through there? And then where we overbought again here. Okay, now this is the tough part. I've got a peak in the RSI, and so I want to say that this peak in the price is a motive wave. But I don't have a wave degree below subminuet, and so I would need to bump up the degree form of everything I have here, which is super annoying, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I need to make sure I give myself enough space in my annotations to correctly identify the fractals. It's all about the fractals. So it's funny. What's funny is that I already started this analysis and I was like, I'll do this. I'll start with subminuet, and then it was like, oh no, that actually is not going to give you enough degrees to the downside, like inferior degrees to show the fractals. And now it turns out, well, actually, I need a lot more than just 2 degrees. I need 3 degrees. It's hard to know where to start. It really is. So that's kind of why I'm doing this, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna put 5 over here. Do you see what I did there? I just simply made all of those wave counts 1 degree higher. And then I'm also going to recolor code this because I use colors to help me see what subtier I'm in of the fractal. So I'm going to make this blue. There we go. And then A, B, C. Sometimes I don't label my corrective phases because it can clutter up the charts quite a bit to do every single one. But I think here I will do this corrective wave. I probably won't throughout the extension because the chart is going to become very cluttered. And I think that there's a lot to be said about a cluttered chart. It's important to have a clean chart. The information needs to be comprehensible. If you write a novel and it's the most beautiful story ever, but you can't read the book because of all the markings or all the smudges or it's poorly printed, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so now I've taken my subminuet waves and I've bumped them up to minuet waves. Okay, and so now the top of this first set of motive waves is actually going to be minutes. And I can't put a circle around the call out, so I just I put a, what do you call it, an O before, you know? Okay, so anyway, I like to color these white. There we go. And if you're savvy, you're gonna start to notice blue, white, and yellow, Argentine flag colors. Haha. Okay, let's go. So now that I've upped that wave degree to give me an additional inferior wave degree to begin to express the extension here, let's keep going. And you know, so I'm saying this is subminuet wave 1, 2, and I have a peak in the RSI here. Okay, so this is the hard part because I actually think I didn't give myself enough waves. Oh no, I need to increase this one. That's right. So I'm going to say this is, yes, a subminuet wave 1. Right? Because this is going to be the beginning of a Minuet Wave 3. So, okay, Minuet Waves 1 and 2 are broken down into sub-minuet waves. And so I need 5 waves to go into 3. Yes, and I want to show those extensions. Okay, don't worry. If you're not following me right now, it's about to make a lot more sense. So let's do this. So overbought in the RSI. There. Right? Overbought in the RSI again, peaking here. But now, guess what? I have, see that? I have a smaller degree I can place there. And now I'm going to look for the next peak. Up here. Come down. Okay, I'm going to say that's the next retracement wave. And actually, I should put that other retracement wave right there. See that little dip there? Okay, and now, where's the next peak in the RSI? Right there. So I'm going to take my next motive wave, place it right there. Perfect. And then I get the top of wave 3 up here. So what's all this? I think that we're actually looking at a triangle of some sort. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? So I'm just going to keep going here. I'm going to keep chugging along. 1. Where's 2? I need 2. Duplicate 2 and say that little dip. That's going to be 2. And then we're starting Minuet Wave 3. And wave 3 peaks out here. And so I'm looking for a retracement, a wave 4, right? And I think that it's actually just like a super, super, super small correction. Like super small correction. Let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's see here. This is the top of 3. Oh, 4 is longer. In fact, we're going to get rid of that. That's like the wrong wave degree. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to go through here. We're going to say that we have a small expanded flat through here for wave 4. Yep. And I'm just going to edit this and make this 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dies through here. We get this truncation. Let's turn on the candles here. Sometimes the candles help. Sometimes the candles help show what's going on. So through there, do you see that? We have this very, very small rising wedge pennant thing. Remember, we're on a 1 minute time frame right now, but you can see the price travel through A points. No, in a triangle there's 5 points. So this would be point A, B, C, D, E at the top, and then boom, break down, pull up to test this little uptrend, break that low, set a new downtrend, enter correction. Okay, there you go. So there is 5 waves through here. I'm not going to show them because that would be exceedingly difficult, but I can say that this peak up here, this is 5, and it is accompanied by a peak in the RSI as well. And so there you have, I'm going to turn that line chart again because it's harder to see on a candlestick pattern. Here you have what a third extension looks like. So we completed a Minuet Wave 1 and 2, and we started a new Minuet Wave 3. Whoop. And so this Minuet Wave is going to have Minuet Waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compose Minuet Wave 3, and in that Minuet Wave 3 we have 5 sub-minuets shown in yellow. Okay, I hope that the fractal is coming in. I hope that it's reaching, understanding. If it's not, join the Discord, ask me questions. Discord's awesome. I love my Discord community. It's so cool. Okay, and then we finally get this uptrend break way over here. So you can see how Minuet Wave 2 to Minuet Wave 3, this rally, this is defined by a single uptrend. Very nice. And so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take away those smaller trends. You can see that there's a trend line here, a trend line here, and a trend line here. Minuet Waves 1, 2, and 3 are kind of following those trend lines. So if you do a correct trend line analysis, you've got a way better shot at doing the Elliott wave analysis correctly as well. And I'm going to just complete this motive wave now. It's a long time. I know this is getting lengthy, but that's okay. I want to get at least this first motive wave out of the way, because I mean this thing is looking fierce, right? This looks awesome. So the first thing I'm going to do when I zoom out is I'm just going to be saying that dip from that high, that's all, of course, going to be the retracement, wave 4, and then we peak at wave 5. Okay? And then we get to break this down one more time. We go in here and we say, okay, this is all wave 4. I need to break this down. I'm looking for 3 wave patterns. So I'm just going to say that I see what could easily be a triangle through here. Not enough touch points, right? Let's turn on the candlesticks. Looks a lot better on the candlestick chart, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5, 6. I mean, yeah. In fact, pipes, these look like overextensions. So, and again, we're on the 1 minute time frame. But here in the 1 minute, in the candlestick chart, you can see that we got a push down, consolidation pattern, and another push down. And so that's going to be my legs A, B, and C of this correction. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the line chart again. And we're going to delete these now. Now, Cap, that's cool, but you told us you were going to use trend lines. And that's true. Okay, you want to see the trend lines. Let's put trend lines down. So there's your high. And then here's our low. Don't overwrite the price, right? And that trend line breaks right here. You see how the price comes up? Breaks through there. Okay, it creates an uptrend through here, which is, of course, really short. It's a really short trend before the next downtrend starts. But you can see how if you use the trend lines, you're still going to get that same result. And it's, yeah, it looks kind of cluttered, right? Well, it's correction wave. Corrections suck. So let's do this. A, B, and C. Let's take the Minuet Wave degree and just start labeling them. Edit properties. A. Duplicate. Edit. This is B. Whoops, that's not right. Let's do this. That's B. And let's duplicate this, pull this down, and say, we'll call this C. And now guess what? This is a zigzag. Okay? And in a corrective zigzag, there are 2 motive waves. All right? The first and the last leg are motive. This middle one's corrective. So it's a 1, 2, 3 move. And maybe you can't see this zigzag that occurs through here. It's pretty small, pretty tight. So let's just go ahead and let's find the motive waves. Let's find those motive waves. And we're going to use our sub-Minuet waves, obviously, for that. Whoops. I don't know what I just did. Did I just auto-zoom or something? I deleted it? That's funny. Let's see here. Put this down 1. I'll just do that. That's easier. So the first thing I look for when I'm starting a new motive wave count is I want to find the impulse and the retracement that does not completely wipe out the impulse. So here's 1, 2, and 3. I know the first impulse wave might be a 3 wave. 2, you see that? Doesn't come up all the way to the top of wave 1. So I'm just going to start that count. This is the first instance of retracement that does not set a new high or a new low. And that's why you can trade with peaks and valleys too, right? Lower high, bearish. And now we're looking for wave 3. So let's see. This has to be all 5. This has to be 1 wave through here. So maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an extension through here. So maybe the best thing to say is 1, 2, call that 3. Call this 4. And then we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And isn't that interesting? You see how I'm saying that peak? If this is the first wave of 5. So there's a fifth wave extension at the end of this motive wave. And typically that means that signals trend reversal. And let's see, it did here. There it is. It's really small. But yes, then we got the bounce, the corrective bounce. I hope that's making sense. Duplicate. Put this down here. Edit properties. 5. And then we'll come up here and we'll say A, B, and C. And the little A, B, C sub minuet waves complete B, Minuet Wave B. You see how that works? You get a complete set of 1 degree, and you complete a degree higher. So there you go. Motive wave, corrective wave, and then there's another motive wave through here, right? So this one's going to be a little more shallow, I think. I'm still going to go through and do this though. 1, 2, and 2 is probably some sort of triangle. It's like backwards. Breakout occurs. 1, 2. So sometimes I put 2 at the end of that pattern, and I'm just gonna delete it. Yeah, I'll delete it because I'm only showing waves 5 right now as patterns, and then 2, 3. Yep. I'm gonna say this is the extent of 3. And it's obviously longer than wave 1, so it's not the shortest wave. And then let's zoom out a little bit, see where we're at longer term here. I'm trying to get down to here. This is the lowest low. So wave 4 is going to be a bounce. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Do you see that? We're going to call this 4. And touchdown at that ultimate low for 5. Okay, there we go. And now if I take a trend line from the peak and I say that's my lowest low and I don't overlap the price at all, that trend reversal occurs right here. And so this is the beginning of my next 5 waveform, my next motive wave. And you might be looking at this and you're like, Cap, bull flag. And I would say, yes, that is exactly correct. That is exactly correct. That is the correct bull flag analysis, where you have an extended motive wave heading higher, which forms a flagpole, and the retracement, which is an ABC correction, fits in the channel. You've got yourself a bull flag. Okay, so those 2 zigzags completing A, B, and C. Whoops, there we go. See how that works? Sub-minuet wave 5 completes the 3rd leg of the ABC at the minuet level, and that completes the retracement at the minute level. And they kind of add up there, right? A, B, C. Okay, woo! So let's keep going here. One more. Wave 5. You know, wave 5 is beautiful. Look how beautiful wave 5 is. It's huge. It's not quite as big as wave 3, obviously, right? Wave 3 was massive. Wave 4. I'm wondering if wave 5 has done correct. Like, if we're moving on from a correction. I mean, I guess I could see A, B, C. Maybe we're starting a new motive wave now, picking up. Kind of difficult to tell, but here we go. So let's break down this last wave. I'm just going to look at here, and I'm going to say, hey, there's levels of support and resistance through here, right here. Do you see that? And so what I'm looking for is this to be a 4-wave valley, and for this to be a 1-wave peak. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be 1. Whoops, don't remove drawing. Duplicate the drawing. Thank you. You see RSI peaks right here. So I'm thinking to myself, that's probably a good spot to put the top of the first motive wave. Could that be 1? With an expanded flat coming down for 2. And it's like, okay, but then, you see that there's a problem. I wanted this to be a wave 4 dip, but look, it crosses over that line. It crosses over that line that gives me my first little sub-minuet peak. 1, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Nope. This is hard. This is a hard one. This is tough. Let's have another look at it. This is probably a third wave extension. This is probably wave 4, and then 5 of 5 is actually probably out here. Oh, we're probably going to retrace a little bit next week. That's okay. Let's do this. Let's say... But that just looks good. Doesn't that look good? If we say 1, 2, 3... That can't be 4. That can be the top of 1 right there. That could be 2 wave. You see how it doesn't retrace all of wave 1's progress. It's a little higher low. Then we get a wave that's bigger than 1. That could be 3. And then 4, that's wave 4 right there. Do you see how it doesn't pass wave 1 peak? There it is. 4, and then this is 5. And that completes the first Minuet Wave. Yep. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Wave 3 is the most commonly extended wave, and so I'm just going to drop down wave 2 at this next valley because this is huge. The next push is huge. Duplicate. And we're just going to call this wave 3 up here. A wave 3 peak. Okay. And we're going to start dropping down the extensions here. Or there's an extension through here, and it's going to be the third of third, and I don't have enough subdegrees to show that, so we're just going to go for what we can do here. Let's see. Where's the top of 3? Probably up here. Looking at the RSI, do you see how overbought it is through here? So I'm going to say 1, barely at overbought. I mean, not even quite. It's still low. 2, 3, and then geez, is that 4? Yeah, that's 4. That little move, that's wave 4, and then we get 1, 2, 3. See the RSI peaking. 4, 5. See the RSI peaking. Well, wow, but how is that the top of wave 5 then? This is a nasty wave 5. We're turning on the candles. Turning on the candles. I need some more clarity here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a 5th wave extension through here that I don't have the I can't label it, right? Because I don't have the subdegrees for it, but it's there. I'm going to go ahead and drop down the sub-Minuet Wave 5. And it's like, hey, that completes Minuet Wave 3. Okay. And so there you go. We're just mapping this thing out one step at a time. I hope you're following this. This is a great demonstration of how to do this sort of analysis. So now that we've seen 1, 2, and 3, we're looking for a Minuet Wave 4, which I'm going to do down here. There we go. And there's a 1, 2, 3 correction through here as well. Let's go ahead and just start breaking that down too. We're going to do all of them. It's going to be a super long video. But what I've heard from my followers is that they want more instructional things. So I can do that. It's not a big deal. As long as you remember, I'm learning too. I am not some sort of professional. Don't even start. Okay, here we go. Minuet Wave A. Duplicate. B. And what you're going to notice is as I identify these waves at larger degrees, I don't have any problem going through and finding those motive waves afterwards. And that's kind of the point, is you're doing logic checks, right? All right, I'm going to suppose we're at an A, B, C correction here. So I'm looking for motive waves through here. And I think I want my candles on for this one. So let's see here. Like, we're going to have to use like a bounce. Like maybe this candle right here. Do you see that funny candle? Maybe that's going to be our bounce for wave 2 there. Could be 1, 2 is like flat. See that? 3, 4, 5. A, A, B, C, some sort of weird correction phase. Let's get going here. Let's just start this. So we're going to put 1 down here. Yeah, you've got that nice 1, 2, 3. So I should be able to get this motive wave through here. This one's going to be the ugliest one, I think, for sure. A flat 2 wave. And then 3. Tiny little bump for 4. Man, those, when you get retracements and corrective motive waves, sometimes they're just like little itty bitty things. 4 and then 5. So it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that 3 wave was shorter than the 1 wave, but 5 is even shorter. So this works. That works for me. Of course, I did have to subdivide my sub-Minuet wave, which of course I don't have the I don't have enough sub waves. Okay, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then B is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then we're looking for another 5 wave. I'm gonna go ahead and get in here because this 5 wave ends at this low. Okay, and this is a weird correction, and then we start our next motive wave here. And the reason why I do that is because we need to get a 1, 2, 3 move, and we also need to get a retracement that doesn't completely wipe out the prior move. So it could be either of these peaks starting it, but I think this is the best. I'm going to call this right here, I'm going to call this a retracement for 2. Call that a 1. Zoom out a little bit. Zoom back in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ugh, it's coming up into 1. I hate that because sometimes that happens. It happens in ending diagonal triangles. So maybe I need to be finding a chart pattern through here too. It's possible. We'll turn on the candlesticks here and we'll see if we don't find a chart pattern through here, because to get that overlap between waves 1 and 4 right here, this is, I don't like that, but that's okay. We'll keep going. We're gonna power through, duplicate, call this a truncated wave 5. Okay, and that completes C and wave 4 on the Minuet level. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're starting a new motive wave. We're starting wave 5. Now, here's the thing. It's good to know that we're in wave 5, but wave 5 may not pass the peak of wave 3. Right? We aren't there yet, for sure. You see, and the RSI hasn't reached overbought yet. So, we're definitely not the top of it yet, I hope. But maybe we are. Something to always consider at this point. This is where you get like multiple analysis. And of course, after hours. So I think it's like 1, 2, like this is the top of wave 1. RSI's at 66. That can happen, remember? That happened last time too at the, which wave 1 was it? Right back here. This sub-Minuet wave 1, its RSI came up to 66 as well. And it actually signaled the beginning of an extended wave. So, you know, there is a very subtle hint that we could be in for a strong rally, actually. In which case, we're working on the first 2 sub-Minuet waves of the first Minuet wave of Minuet Wave 5. And so that would be describing a long, prolonged rally, which really could be in the works here. Really could be. Yep. And hopefully that wave 5, the Minuet Wave 5, is actually the first wave of a minor motive wave heading higher. So there you go. That was a lot. Holy cow. Oh, I was going to look for a pattern through here because I got this overlap. And it's looking rough. That looks rough. Because after hours, I think we're going to have to let that one slide. Waves 1 and 4, they can overlap, and that's because of the derivatives markets. And on a witching day, like Friday was, maybe that's appropriate to see there too. Probably some market plumbing dynamics to study there. So, I'm gonna keep this analysis going, and I'm gonna do the next wave degrees on the 1 hour. It's like, oh wait, yeah, you starting to see the fractals, aren't you? All of this is just a wave 5, right? So I don't know what degree we're on at this level, but let's see here. I'm gonna give it 2 degrees. I'm gonna get 3 degrees higher. I'm just guessing at what I'm gonna be doing here. So we're just gonna use whoops. Why do I keep doing that? We're just gonna use primary waves to show the larger pattern. It's like there's wave 1, here's the dip for wave 2. And then we had, let's see here, a big extension of wave 3. And you're gonna start seeing the extensions through there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you can see the RSI peaking at the tops of waves. Let's see here. 3, 4, 5 right there. 1, 2. Right, you're seeing this. And then 5 obviously is overbought. And now we're in this massive wave 4. And we're starting a wave 5. We're starting a wave 5. Whoops. I don't know what I'm clicking to do that. I really don't. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and looking for 5. And if I zoom in, you're going to see that same pattern back here. And of course, with after hours on at this level, it's easier just to turn on the line chart, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's fractaling. It's all fractaling. We're going to get some really good analysis next week because a lot's going on. This was a long, lengthy discussion. If you liked this, hit join below. This is what I do for fun all week in the Discord, so